Okay. All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. I'm live. I don't see anyone here yet, but I don't really know how that works. So I'm just gonna do a bit of lighting adjustments here. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, good enough. All right. I'm hoping you can hear this song. This is the Commodore's night shift. I believe it is night shift. Yeah. And this is about Marvin Gaye. And this is because he was moved by his father, and of course he was a very loved R&B singer. And I'm playing this song because this reminds me of my brother. And today would have been my brother's birthday. It's his 58th birthday. So I'm really a little bit emotional because, well, so I just wanted to share that because, well, the summit's over. We're wrapping it up, and I'm like exhausted. Plus, it's my brother's birthday today, April 24th. No, that was my birthday. August 24th. He was born in 65. And yeah. So let me try to collect myself and move on here. I'm not really sure how to. This is the first live stream I've ever done, and I'd like to interact with the images, but I don't even know how to do that. So I think probably right now, I don't know. I don't know how this is going. Is that better? Oh, all right. Anyway, we got 2 thumbs up. Excellent. And there's 4 people here. Okay, so there's something happening. Thank you. I'm going to have to do the real interview with myself later. I'm going to take that down. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I'm just going to stop it. Okay, so, all right. Thanks, David. Hi, I see you there. Thank you. All right, so, yeah, I want to thank, I'm wrapping up the summit today, and I want to just thank everybody. What a Herculean effort this was. And, oh, man, I mean, the energy and the focus in August, well, it was July, it started earlier, but really July and August were the huge focuses of this. And I don't mind because, it wasn't really a great summer anyway. And, it's for the best cause I can think of, which is redeeming my my bloodline. All the negative things that were done to my parents and myself, my sister and my brother, and all the negative consequences that we suffered. I'm just lucky that I'm here to tell you, that. So I'm going to do everything I can do to write it, to make it until I'm dead. Like, I don't, what else could be more important, especially given these times and all the information that's come to light. Anyway, so that's that. So the summit was great. I want to thank all my guests, Lana Ponting, our guest of honor. That's fantastic. I don't know if you can see that. I really don't know what's happening here, but anyway. Yeah, Lana Ponting was our guest of honor, and she's 79 now. She's an original first generation survivor. And I want to stress how important it is for our lawsuit to unite and get this done as quickly as possible so that the first generation survivors of this dark evilness in our histories can see some justice in their lifetimes. Many of the people are dead. My parents are dead. You know, going through this and understanding what they went through gives me quite a bit of perspective on them that I didn't have, that I wish I had. You know, I blame them for so many things. Some of it, you know, was right, but I can't. It would have been great if they had told me the truth. But obviously, the darkness of this all. Yeah, thanks, David. You're right. Time to crush trauma-based mind control once and for all. Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. There's going to be more, and I'm going to do a, more comprehensive final stream when I just feel more up to it. I just wanted to wrap it up because I've got so many things to do now, which is, getting my van together and get across the country, and I got to plan the trip. So we're feeling optimistic. We know that all the judges are now, they're awarding people these settlements. There's no question that this was not right there, that it was against the law, that this was trauma-based mind control that didn't do anybody any favors. And there had to have been, like, I would say 100,000 people that went through that hospital, and none of them came out any better, and most of them were destroyed. Everybody in Quebec knows. They all know. Just that it's now 70 years past, so 70, 80 years ago. Lest we forget. Let's not. This is as meaningful as any war survivors. And I mean, I could go on about just how traumatized I was, and that I still am, and that and how much I had to work through alone, or with my peer group, whoever was around me at the time, to try to overcome this. I don't think anyone can ever fully overcome it, because it's just something that's out there now. It seems to be the cult that is all connected at the top, and I tried to connect those dots with our guests. It's still out there running things, if you haven't noticed. But the exposés are becoming more and more bountiful and pervasive, and so I'm joining that in my pursuits, and I certainly enlighten so many of these arguments and so many of these stories, because I've lived it. It wasn't my aunt or a distant relative that was traumatized by Ewen Cameron and the doctors in there, and all the doctors before and after, because it didn't just end or begin for my parents there at the Allen. I lost my train. Okay, I want to talk about mental illness and what it is. So all mental illness is related to unresolved trauma. That's all it is. That's all it is. So none of those doctors, no doctors today. I will say there are exceptions to some therapists. I think they are few and far between, and I've never met one, but some of our guests have. But I, considering what the mental health industry did to my family, I stayed away from it like the plague, although I did have some attempts with it when I was younger, but it just never helped me. So all that is that never focuses on trauma being the cause. And so it's all covering up. And that's what his mental health industry does to this day with drugs, which destroy your functionality. I'm not on any psychotropic drugs, and I've never have been. I tried to take an antidepressant once. A friend of mine convinced me because of the way I am, you know, makes people think that I'm depressed, but I'm not depressed. I'm just this way. So, and so I did. I went and I got some antidepressants, and the doctor just said, okay, try it out. And I remember the pharmacist looking at me kind of strange. It was in Whistler, and she was a little snowboard girl. So she was like, what's going on here? You're supposed to be the happiest you can be in this town. Whistler is the #1 ski resort in the world, apparently. But I took one antidepressant, and it was a beautiful day and in the summer, and I had a photo hike planned. I was doing photo tours at the time. I was going to go down and see like a wake for a friend. I could not move. I don't know why I took it thinking that I could just carry on my day. I went into the fetal position and stayed in my bed with every dark emotion that I had ever associated with my mother, myself. It was all there. I mean, it's in my DNA. I don't know how to tell you this, but my mother was breastfeeding, and when I was in the womb, she was on all these drugs. So I get it. I don't like it will react differently to me because of my DNA is already part of that experiment. And I mean, that's just one example of how this program gets inherited. So the suffering and the trauma is just over the top. My parents, they tried. They were functional, somewhat. I mean, my mom was pretty much depressed in bed most of the time, but she was loving, and not a multiple. And my father was definitely a multiple. He was well in the notes of the records that I've received. They call him this highly intelligent, complicated man, and he certainly was. I will go on about them later. I just can't right now. I wanted to just wrap up the summit. Uh, Jimmy James, if you're wondering, we didn't get to his. There was technical difficulties lining up the images with the audio. So hopefully we're going to invite Jimmy back and do it again. But I was trying to tie in the targeted individual experience because I would really like for them to know that it originated somewhere with that all that tech and all that techno, the schematics of all the how it's done was tested at the Allen and all these connected underground military, wherever they were doing it, anywhere, university hospitals, all over North America, all over the world, really, that's what I found. They were, all of it was connected, and I lost my train again. I just so I'm sorry. I'm not going. This is not the way I wanted it to be, like sharp and everything. But I'm just gonna wrap it up. Thank you, and mention that the all mental illness is unresolved trauma. So I'm trying to find out the truth of my family history. It's way more than just the records. I have the records. We're in a lawsuit, and I'm so thankful for that because I know that so many other people, hundreds of thousands of victims of this program, TIs and victims in all those programs and satanic ritual abuse, aren't where we are right now. But I want to say that I do recognize you, and that is why I have already outlined the foundation, the mission foundation, which is Ultranation mission, with all the principles of all the bullet points of my goals. But back to Jimmy James, I remember what I was saying. So So how he's a classic today targeted individual, and the funny part about his story is that it really ramped up while he was on a business trip to Montreal. And that's when he says his remote neural monitoring started, when he was staying at a hotel called the Sofitel, which is at the base of the Allen Memorial Hill in Montreal, where that hospital is. That's when it ramped up, and he got, it went to 11, his whole targeting thing. And he's got videos of all these cop cars, like on parade, like 23 circling his hotel when he was trying to leave, all kinds of ambulances and fire trucks without any emergency, always driving by him. Like, it's so weird. It's not normal. So anyway, that didn't work out, but we'll hopefully have him on another summit. I'm going to do these summits now that we've got it's set up. It's going to keep going. We are going to win this lawsuit. It's just a matter of us coming all together and organizing and getting it done real quick, because that's what we want more than anything. There's been too many delays. There's been too much misunderstanding, really. You can't really tell a survivor that their story isn't their story when it's their story. I mean, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? I think, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I mean, that's why it took so long, and the second generation are doing this because our parents couldn't, even though there's a 70 years of history of attempting to make lawsuits. But restitution appears to be coming in the courts. They're making all kinds of settlements for all these victims because it's obvious now. So we will be there, hopefully this year. If not this year, then for sure next year. Okay? And then all this I can keep going with all these remedies for myself and for as many other people that want to participate with their own healing or understanding or discovery, because there's quite a lot of inquiry as to what these programs were about. And mkultra, it's been, blowing up on the internet for the 5 years that I've been involved. So that's kind of all I'm going to say right now, because I'm depressed today. I'm not normally depressed, but I'm down. It's my brother's birthday. He would have been 55. Yeah. He died when he was 19, and when that happened, I was so heartbroken because, my sister had already been institutionalized a couple years before that. And both of my parents were people that I could not, I tried to get away from them. I left home when I was 15. I did not include them in my life. I didn't have children because of them. I didn't want any, but it was because I went on my own. I just couldn't get really like a support base from one of my lovers, I guess, or boyfriends, or what you would think of that. That was a separate thing that I just couldn't bring it. I couldn't open my heart to, I couldn't, I just didn't know how to open the discussion. It was so crazy. And if I ever did, it was, I just didn't have the tools or the context, and either did they. So it was not something that worked for me. Plus I had goals and ambition, which now it's coming together. Well, actually, I mean, I spent 20 years as a successful person in business, and I still am. So, I have surmounted that, but I want to heal my being, and I know there's so much work to be done. The Ultra Nation Foundation outlines it. It's one of the campaigns, which is under the campaign button, and the summit's over, good, done. The next one is the rally, Walk With Us. That's Montreal. It's September 18th. on the steps of the Allen Memorial. I mean, what a time to be doing this. But because of the, COVID and all that, I think I got to get back there now. This may be the last time I ever see my sister, my mentally disabled sister. She wasn't mentally disabled when she started out. It was more, they just threw her in the program, and then she, like, trouble, unresolved trauma. Guess what? Really? Is it all just a big, awful tragedy? Okay, so Debbie just question. Hello from Debbie from Chicago. Hi, Debbie. Where's the place to go on Targeted Individuals Day, August 29th, 2020? I can't tell you. I don't know. It's around. It's all, you got to look it up yourself. I don't know. I mean, I'm doing this, and it's all like targeted individual year, targeted individual lifetime. I'm focusing on my case because it's the it's sure thing. It's real. It's miles ahead of the other cases that are still broad parameters. But when we win this should be a good thing for all the other connected cases. I'm going to do another case for the children, Vix, because it's next. I've got the proof. So that's what's going to happen. But let's be clear that cases at least need to be identified within their own country, okay? You can't cross borders, as far as I know. So I'm in Canada, I'm a Canadian. So there's plenty of us out in Canada that are connected or not to the Allen Memorial, but we're children victims. I believe in my heart, because I verified with what has happened and my persistence, that the truth will be known, and that we can get records. We will find these things. It's happened to me because of my persistence and my faith, my verification of my faith, because I know that these things can be done, because I already proved it to myself in so many counts. Now I'm going to prove it with this stuff, which is more humanitarian rather than just I can at least make myself happy as a single middle-aged woman, no kids, with 2 cats. I can do that. Anyway, I think I'm getting a little off topic here, but and rambly, which is okay. I think, remember, stream of consciousness is sort of a valid form of expression for artists, which is, I'm an artist, okay, a visual artist, and I'm going to keep doing it. So the rally will be on September 18th, and we will be doing a movie of that as well. So the documentary film is going to be mainly of that rally, but also of clips on the way and part in this whole thing. And it'll be in the public record. Now, this is not, I'm an amateur filmmaker. I'm a professional aerial photographer, that I can say, but I am an amateur filmmaker. But I've got the good equipment. Thank you to the people who've donated so far that helped me get that stuff. And I've been working with it, so I think it'll be good. But it's more for getting the job done to get the message out. But it'll probably be a good looking movie as well. So, hi, generation. Greetings from an Israeli MKUltra survivor. Wow, how interesting. I'm sure you have lots to tell. And I'm very interested in hearing other survivors. And the problem is most people, they don't get to talk about it, and they're living in fear, and they don't have the context. They're still like treading water. Thank you.